What happens now that Donald Trump has been impeached a second time? It's complicated. I won't get to everything, so please leave any questions you have in the comments. It is up to the Senate to decide if Donald Trump will be convicted. In his last days as Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell has decided there will not be a special session, which means that the earliest the Senate could take up the matter would be January 19th. However, it's critical that it not be their first order of business, and that they prioritize the confirmation of key cabinet positions for the Biden administration. We are still in the midst of a deadly pandemic with daily death tolls topping 4,000. It is essential that the president swiftly get a Secretary of Health and Human Services. We are in an economic crisis. The day after impeachment, 965,000 new jobless claims were reported. The incoming president must have a Secretary of Treasury as soon as possible. And as the nation faces an elevated risk of domestic terror, it is important that there be a head of Homeland Security. When the Senate does finally vote on the matter, it will take a 2/3 majority vote to convict the president. Article 1, Section 3 of the Constitution specifically says that it requires 2/3 of the members present, which potentially creates the option that Republicans who don't wish to be on record as voting to convict President Trump, but also don't want to stand in the way of it, could simply be not present and thereby reduce the threshold of votes that would be required to convict the president. But if all members are present, it would require 17 Republicans siding with all 50 Democrats and independents to convict the president. And none other than Mitch McConnell has signaled that he may be open to voting to convict, which could potentially open a floodgate of Republicans seeking to distance themselves from this president and the violent attack on the Capitol. If he is convicted, he would be the first president to be convicted via impeachment, and he would be the first president to have his impeachment trial happen after leaving office. But he would not be the first person to be impeached after leaving office. A senator and a cabinet secretary have in the past been impeached after leaving office. If he were to be convicted, he would lose his pension of roughly $200,000 a year. I see people posting that the First Lady would also lose a pension of over $200,000 a year. That's not true because she doesn't get one. In fact, First Ladies aren't paid anything, which is bullshit and the topic of another video. It is unclear if the president would lose his Secret Service detail. That is an important issue because the Washington Post has revealed that the president has managed to milk the Secret Service of about $1 million for access to the president's own properties where they are protecting him. That's taxpayer money. If the president is convicted, he also faces the prospect of being barred from ever holding federal office again. It doesn't happen automatically. It requires a separate vote, but that vote would be a simple majority vote. But whether or not the president is convicted, it is of huge historic significance that he has been impeached twice, and this time in the most bipartisan impeachment in history. 10 members of his own party joining with the opposing party to vote for his impeachment. Donald Trump is now the subject of 50% of America's presidential impeachments. In the years after presidents leave office, it is very common for their legacies to become resurrected, for people to forget the bad parts of a president's history and remember only the good. It will be tempting to sweep under the rug the fact that over 380,000 Americans died in a pandemic under his watch, or that some 5,000 children were ripped from their parents by his policy with no plan to ever reunite them. But the fact that history will forever remember him as the only president ever to be impeached twice will make it harder to resuscitate his legacy. And it will also surely do irreparable harm to the Trump brand. Already, he has lost $17 million worth of contracts with the city of New York, and it is likely that because of this impeachment, that the Trump name, the most valuable asset of the Trump organization, will be forever remembered in infamy. If you have more questions, tweet them at me at apiper13. I will do my best to answer them.